don't know if he has the Kashtira engine or if that's just Nesh Spice. Speaking of Nesh Spice, he needs to bring out something good here. Oh, yeah, we did see the Kashtira, actually. You're right.
And I think he had a hard draw.
It was called by the grave on the Molchami Fubalos, but the artifact Lancia is, of course, designed to beat the Malice deck, but sometimes it also helps against the call by the grave.
And in Duel B, there's Ash Blossom on Maxi. These players are giving everything right now. Blade is going to destroy itself. Summon out the Anguish gives the first draw here. And keep in mind, not only is Fubalos active, but also Lancia does have a big impact against the Memento strategy. No field spell unless you hard draw it.
And you're seeing disruptions traded back and forth without Ragnarok even getting a turn thus far. Let's see if BROTDOSE can weather this storm, or if Ragnarok will take it back here as the turn passes over in Duel C.
BROTDOSE with not a good field. This is just IP Masquerena plus Kashtira Unicorn. Does he have something like Maxi in hand?
Probably also not a good hand, given the fact that he had to use the Ghost Spell for the material.
Book of Eclipse on almost only a Link Monster is crazy, but the Link Monster is IP Masquerena, so not doing too much there. No Ash Blossom already for that. Is there something like a Maxi? It wasn't activated yet. I don't know if it's going to be ever activated. Memento Link Goblin is being normal summoned. Can it activate its effect? Lacrima is being summoned from the graveyard now, or put back to the deck. Summon of Requiem.
That enables the IP Masquerena. We didn't even care about the Book of Eclipse, so we can now just do it again because we have another monster available.
The Goblin Biker Memento is Nesh special, but there we go!
That's awesome.
Denying the effect of the Requiem to make sure that there is no Lacrima coming back to the field, and that leaves the IP Masquerena empty-handed with no other link material to link with.
So much Memento gaming right here. Vince is also chilling on the combined Creation King, activating it, not really knowing what to send. What can you even do? You don't want to give more draws. You cannot banish Fusion from the graveyard to pop to continue extending. You can send Akihiron, doesn't do anything. You can send Gatic and the field spell.
They won all of the coin tosses, but it looks like Ragnarok have been able to make some kind of a comeback against BROTDOSE here. BROTDOSE, yes, they got to go first. Yes, they got to set up and do their thing, but right now it's Ragnarok's game.
I love that. Simultaneous activations almost there from Memento Miglan field spells on Duel A and Duel C by different teams, though.
Okay, are we searching to the hand, or are we special
searching.
summoning? Because if we are just searching, we don't have... Okay, Tatsuno Toshigo can of course be special summoned as an extender, but keep in mind Gatic has already been used here. Now, the Akihiron is being special summon. Okay, you can summon Tatsuno Toshigo and then destroy your Akihiron as well to get add back of something from the graveyard. But you also have the Memento Big Cloud.
Still in turn one for this Memento deck, so could still very well set up some kind of disruption here.
We have talked about Memento being such a big factor here in the tournament, and it looks like the Memento decks of both teams are going to be the ones here leading charge for their respective teams, as both the Memento decks get to combo here for Vince and Nash respectively.
Meanwhile, in Duel C, running critically low on hand
but when Memento semua nih. Udah main Memento. Udah nggak main ini ya, nggak main kartu, nggak main deck Memento dia. Decknya Memento sama Snake Eyes.
But the Book of Eclipse came in clutch. Starting things off with that was good for Nesh, and Nesh now extending.
We have two very interesting duels in Chris versus Snooker. Miles ahead. And of course Nesh versus BROTDOSE, where Nesh is starting to combo off. We have no information about the last two cards in hand of BROTDOSE, but how good can they really be?
We are trying to figure out.
Ini menang 2 kali aja udah. Masuk final. Tinggal melawan 4 dan kawan-kawan.
Will also now be able to search for another copy of Tatsuno Toshigo. We just saw that in Duel A, but here in Duel C, it is also now into the action.
The cards in BROTDOSE's hand are indeed the question here, as he summoned that Ghost Spell suboptimal more often than not, but is he prioritizing holding on to 2 cards that could make the difference, or are they even less optimal than that? But regardless of how BROTDOSE plays this one out, it's Nesh's time to shine. It's the Memento deck that is ramping up.
But we
Wah,
just saw
udah
this,
terdua ya.
they're basically praying, so I think let's see
Si
actually
BROTDOSE bawain kasih rubber.
Duel number A and check how Mist is doing there, because I think turn was just passed over there to him.
Let's go over to Duel A.
Bisa di OTK sih ini.
Have 6 cards in hand.
Kan bagi hero nya bisa ini dari
That
attack.
I've ever seen a Memento player have, but it's also not the worst one, especially after 2 hand traps, even though one of those was Koalas, of course stopping the combo a little bit.
And I have seen Mist on the Ritual Beast deck dismantle scarier fields than this, but here we are in Duel C.
Goblin Biker, big
tiba-tiba Goblin
Gabonga
Biker
is
tuh.
being Exceed summoned here. This is not any regular Memento deck, but it is Goblin Biker Memento. Nesh is famous for this deck. He has been playing it so much, and he's also bringing it here to the World Championship.
Yep, the 2 Anguish used as Exceeds material there to make this happen, and indeed, we said Nesh, no cards in hand, it's all about the field and the graveyard. Suddenly replenished that, suddenly extending again and finding ways back into this one.
Gabonga now using the effect onto the IP Masquerena. One material was taken away by the Dark Charger, but we put that IP Masquerena underneath the big Gabonga right there.
Now we have the Goblin Biker Grand Entrance, even more extension
Wah
on the
gila
other
nih apa.
side.
Itu dia bawa Goblin Biker buat ini buat konten Rezel buat ngambil material.
Because Tekutika can trigger after an effect was activated, but the first effect that activates are X and the Mariologic Aggregator. Once they resolve, there's nothing you can summon back with the Tekutika.
Talk to me a bit about the Firewall Dragon Pass in Duel B as well.
Masih belum push ini.
With the Bestial, I believe, on the field, does have 3 cards in hand on this Malice strategy.
Bukan.
Very well be enough. We see now the relinquished Anima here. First of all, though, for Nash.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
table and there is a Malice Dormouse in Duel B2, so it really feels like the momentum is shifting back over here to Ragnarok. They may have lost all the coin tosses, but they are really working their way here into this.
And there's another Impulse here. I think the Impulse was a card that probably was also used by Luca in that last turn. Impulse is so impactful if you can hit those Malice resummon effects from the extra deck. These 900 life points paid affects you. On the other side, Vince is trying to use the momentum that has, of course,
saya lihat buat
the field
bisa summon lagi.
with the combined creation kick, while
Bisa
Dash
summon apa
is
nih?
trying to look out to finish the game.
Yep, Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians. We've seen time and time again. This generates an extra material.
Wah, tapi di bawah
and
ini.
then links off into the access code toolkit, the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Anything Nesh needs is available to him.
And you see that
Iya, pada main Memento
smile
semua.
by Nash. He's smiling as he's doing all of that because he knows he is now safe
Udah kapul
with
anjir.
the Bow of the Goddess from those potential remaining cards in the hand by BROTDOSE. But we are now still trying to get to those 2 big monsters to possibly attack directly once more with Memento cards.
Yes, the combined creation.
Mungkin dia
and
takut sama ini,
creation
takut sama
the Memento
si biru kali, si
creates
Nesh.
left and right so far this tournament, and it doesn't.
Udah tinggal ambil ini, ambil
Nesh on this deck
bos
right
monsternya
back
yang
into
5.000 atau
So good against BROTDOSE.
Can we also look again into Duel A, because there is more actions happening. Vince is building up a sizable
Terus mau match.
defense here.
Terus mau match.
Mist is trying to break this, has 6 cards in hand. So many interactions are already out.
Dua kira balik.
What is left?
Bisa summon.
Mist here, know that he must have searched some more cards, probably off of the Ideal Salt.
It could very well come down to that final game as these teams are trading.
Oh, kira kira udah aktif itu, jadi bisa langsung dari attack.
Is well within Nesh's reach and
Monster
well
Memento.
within Ragnarok's victory, but the others could go either way.
Did I just see a Droll and Lockbird by Herman there on his very own turn? That looked fairly interesting, especially when you are playing the Ryzel deck yourself, but that was indeed what happened, and there's a
Agak lama ya kalau ini ambil bos monster.
Wait, Talents, has he negated the Tekutlika earlier? Because otherwise this could be a crazy field wipe here with taking the Tekutlika and attacking over everything. But I think this should be negated with the Mariologic Aggregator. Now Ice is being normal summoned here after
Oh, mau dihancurin.
maybe also the combined creation
Kira
was targeted with the Mariologic Aggregator. But Nash Antonio Papa is ramping
Wah, ini dia nih.
the attack here.
Langsung saja
Another
bersponsor.
Who is your Papa now, he says, as he is going to summon the combined creation.
Yep, combined creation, the difference maker for the Memento.
Udah tinggal serang aja.
On the wrong side of the field.
Lihat deh.
But the right side for Nash here and Ragnarok take you to that deciding
Menang coy, gila.
point.
Gila Nes.
Wins for Ragnarok. Nash is attacking with the
Wow.
Tekundika and no celebrations just yet. There is
Mamma
no
mia.
reason for him to celebrate. The job is not done.
Satu lagi nih Nes.
At Luca versus Chris.
Timnya
Dark
Nes
Tommy
satu lagi
Chama
menang
has been
udah.
summoned. This is
Final
an
deh.
amazing extender in the Malice Mirror match.
Yes, Malice in the mirror indeed. We've seen it multiple times this tournament, but these two
Gila,
have
Ragnarok.
been the most prominent players between them, hence why they're meeting in the semi-finals, but only one of them can proceed into the grand final. Luca doing everything he can to make sure it's him.
Nih Luka main Malis Mirror. Oh tapi under max sih.
And Marcher is of course being the response to that because you don't want to give too many draws there. If you can let one less draw go.
Ada respon dari Chris.
Is there ever a way to not try to go for it here? Do you just play a little safe, do not commit into the maxi?
Ternyata Malis
Or
Mirror.
do you just go for it right here, right now? And are you trying to end
Meningkat
the game
saja.
this turn? I think if I am in the shoes of Luca Foyn right now, we're trying to go for game in this very turn.
Malice in the mirror, in the Malice mirror there. Chris activating that, hoping to make a comeback here as the game
Aduh, under max ya.
rapidly looks to be
Harus
escaping his control.
Rabbit ada serangan buat badan, buat nambah body.
Any more interruptions here. Also, the white rabbit is going to be very annoying.
Si Luka mau nggak mau
You want to go for a quick OTK
langsung tabrak kan.
doing
Mau nggak mau.
any more special summons or too many, because what I thought was going to be a good play is go into one Malice Link and then go into the access code talker, but there are way too many bodies now.
Ooh, Malice MTPO7 set, but immediately also activated. Brings the March here to the hand by banishing immediately that White Rabbit, but it looks like we're not even able to activate the White Rabbit anymore now. We just bring out the March here instead.
No more disruption, crucially for Luca here. So if Chris has options, as you mentioned, Leo, he can just keep going.
What can you do here? Is there a way to get the win with Malice Q Hard Scripter here in this very turn? Can leave all of the three main monsters or monsters away, but I don't think that is going to be the best play here.
Wah,
Also,
nambah
has
body lagi
Firewall
nih.
Dragon been used yet? We have the White Binder now from the graveyard summoned into the
Gimana
Firewall
caranya
Zone,
dia
and
under
now
max
it's
itu?
looking way more difficult all of a sudden for Luka.
But please remember, Chris
yes.
is down to 3,800 life points. That's really not that much. And even though Chris is constantly
tinggal
playing
bawah nih.
right now, it is still
Tinggal si Miss.
and he is the one that
Udah
will
bersih
have
anjir
the battle
boardnya.
phase next.
Let's go over to Duel A right
Udah
now.
Miss tinggal serang menang.
There is incredible. Miss is in his main phase who has cleared the entire field. Still has the Tekundika there, but the deck has barely.
Lo udah memento anjir. Main original memento anjir. Nipu deh.
Locked out of that by now.
Yeah, we
Oh, udah
do
respon
not
tapi.
have much remaining for Miss, but he's cleared
teori
out
4.
the field. Once the turn passes back over, it's on Vince to clutch this one out. What in the rank?
Oh ini Miss menang udah nih. Wah iya ya.
It's Baguska, the terribly tired taper.
We had Sleepy, now we're terribly tired with the Baguska. It is still the semi-final here, but we're taking some speed out of here by turning everything into defense position with the Baguska.
And there is Memento top fusion being activated. I think this was end
Wah,
of
Memento
main phase
fusion ternyata.
hold right there, just so you can
Mau
probably
lihat.
fuse from the graveyard.
Mau
I
kemana
would
dia?
assume at least get some more resources onto the field while the combined creation is going to
Creation King lagi deh.
onto your own field. You want to have an extra deck monster here on your field just so that you can next turn maybe
bikin iget.
link off into Espidil Knight.
Absolutely, but still, we always say when it gets back to the Memento deck, when we have survived the turn, the follow-up for Memento is usually absolutely amazing, and I think they might just be able to out the Baguska. Don't forget about the Ryziel crossbow,
Aduh,
still able to
mubazir
negate something like an SP Little Knight.
And to Duel B, there is a Baldrake
Udah ini kayak ini,
to the Link Decoder. That is usually not the biggest of
Twin Dragon
deals,
ya,
but if you
Memento
are going to
Twin Dragon.
OTK through a maxi that has resolved, this is huge news because the Baldrake also forms another interruption onto the field of Chris.
Ini gitu.
Yes, indeed, trying to weather this storm and take BROTDOSE to the finals. There's
Tapi masih bisa ada Steven lagi.
sent over onto Vince.
Intinya sleeping.
Can you turn this this around and clear out the Baguska standing in your way. The Ryziel detonator and the Ryziel cross, of course, are also issues. But first and foremost has to deal with this.
How are we going to do it? Normal summon them and Toadlin Sleepy, and I think we are just looking into our extra deck trying to find a suitable Link monster, and that is most likely going to be that SP Little Knight. But before that even, we do go ahead, use the Graveyard Effect
Tapi masih bisa nih di recover.
to search for them and Toadlin Bone Party.
Ya, terus kemudian dipantuin di boy. Loh, menang. Menang time out anjir. Oh gila. Menang time anjir itu si bawah. Finish. Masih luka. Oh gila. Siapa yang nyangka coy, apa si Ragnarok menang.
Finalists here at the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2025. That came out of nowhere. We did not see
pada kaget anjir.
And all of a sudden, this game that didn't look good for Ragnarok was decided by the timer. This was absolutely breathtaking. Basti, you must have felt that.
Yes, I'm usually the one timing out with that deck or with any other deck in Master Duel, but it was in that case, Chris. Unfortunate ending, of course, to that intense of a match. I think no one on his team, no one of his teammates would be mad about it. Chris has played so well up to this very moment, so you can't blame it at all. And in that situation where the pressure is so high and where you have to do so many things at once, it is not a shame to sometimes
make it that, but you have to consider that there are two games happening simultaneously as well, and that means that you have to think about your teammates in this situation. It puts even more pressure, even more things you have to pay attention to. And yes, Leo, you said, Basti, you must feel it for the victors there, winning off of a time out, but also for BROTDOSE, the heartbreak of losing in such a fashion after such a good showing all tournament long.
It was really also looking like it was swinging towards their favor there in that game. The Firewall Dragon responds to the Access Code talk.
Itu padahal itu udah ada posisi kalah dia. Udah mau kalah.
The entire field exploded. That was almost like
Istilah si Luka ya.
Yes, definitely. The entire
Firewall Dragon mau ngebon. Ya, Access Code Talker. Waktunya habis time limit.
Timed out, and honestly, imagine you sit there as the team captain. I know Bronas is probably one of the most relaxed and chill persons I've ever seen, but he that seeing on Chris' screen that number ticking down, but he can't do anything about it but say, hey, bro, please do something about it. He can't do anything about it though. It was dramatic.
Apa dari awal ya, coba.
Congratulations to Team Ragnarok on the other hand. Or is it Team BROTDOSE? Wow, like Ragnarok just won all three coin flips, and it means that they will get to go first here.
Satunya si Mr. Man Duel.
Momel's phenomenal when it comes to dealing with a lot of different things, especially when it gets to play without any kind of disruption. Right now, seems to just be resolving card after card after card.
And of course, also this being stopped on the Ice Ryziel with an effect negation, like a real pro, just throws the Sword Ryziel from hand. Just after that, now what is going on in Duel C right now? We're seeing Engraver, discard, add, feeds with Track. That's a solid start.
Ooh, Nash is there for, and that's another surprise here. Not playing his beloved Memento deck, but also has decided to switch it up to his secondary deck, which is
It's everything good that isn't needed within the other decks for this team, including the Atlantean Mermail that Luka has now revealed. I guess we said this was the break glass in case of emergency. Well, this is apparently emergency enough for Luka to start playing that. Nesh, though, speaking of starting playing, currently uninterrupted as the Fiendsmith combo goes off.
And you have to also admit that Nash is playing the anti-Malice deck here, and he's actually facing off versus Chris, so fair to heal the deck that has Artifact Lance here.
But if you know that Nash is for sure bringing an anti-Malice strategy, perhaps you've opted to go second, or well, you lost the coin toss anyway, but perhaps it's Chris with that Malice counter that he was packing to in the Sky Striker 10 high.
You cannot definitely tell. It was not revealed just yet. So far, Chris is not moving, but that could be because it is that Sky Striker 10 deck.
There was in Duel B something crazy happening. Winning Glacia was resolved in actually discarding Imperial Iron Wall. Vince made the prediction of playing versus Malice again, and Imperial Iron Wall wouldn't have helped at all because it is the Mermail Atlantean.
Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth flooding the field with monsters, and this just continues to look great for Luka and Team Ragnarok.
Honestly, I think think Luka played a real strong mind game with the entire competition. He said it in any talk he had to anyone, basically to me, to all of his friends. He always said, I don't need to go away from my Malice deck, to now only when his opponent expects him to bring it, of course, once more, go over to the Mermaid deck.
He just knew this was the anti-Malice slot. Vince is going to be super comfortable playing this into there. And of course, if you're playing Atlantic Runner, you go first. That's a huge start already. It's very hard to stop you in your tracks, but if your opponent's playing so many cards that just stop you from banishing.
Oh, loh, yang main Mermaid anjir.
Indeed, we even have an XC7 now coming through. That will be the first
Nggak ada enter nih dari si Vince.
Actually, Duel C, I don't think Chris is on his 10 connect necessarily, as we just saw a Ghost Battle mentioned there being used on the effect of Fiends with Sequence.
Ini menangnya flawless ya. 3-0 yang pertama.
What a card, that card is no longer legal.
Udah nih Vince nggak main, dibuang-buangin kartu.
Putting more and more water
Kartu hand.
onto the field. And Vince, we actually just saw the interior line wall. That also tells us this should be his secondary deck. He plays this voice deck.
Yeah, Voice a good answer into most, but is it enough at this point? Down to 2 cards in hand before the duel has even begun for him. We mentioned the Psycho Abyss before. There it is finally the next step in the combo. That rank 7 now with 3 materials ready and waiting to sink Vince on the next turn.
Now on the duel of the captains, Herman Hansen is doing what Brothers promised to do before that match, saying, I will Bakuska you in the middle of it. And has now just doing untargetable, undestructible. Bakuska the terrible entire top here is sitting in this position. Even though misused his entire hand, it is rather right here. Bakuska doing full combo. Only one.
Langsung saja patung air. Udah kelok si Vince.
Impressive field, but even so, the fact that that went off unimpeded, even though Vince has only 2 cards in hand, so it's a little bit less likely they'll have something to begin with. Yeah, this is rapidly approaching territory where there's no coming back. Mermail King net Abyss now.
And talking about Vince, you can clearly tell he has no interruption in his hand, and therefore Robert focuses on his teammates. He's leaning over, watching his team captain and his match and how that goes, and he's trying to help him as good as he can. This is a 3v3 team competition, so you're always playing every match together.
I think Brothos was also watching Chris's screen, by the way, because that duel seems to be very much anyone's to take.
Let's go over to Duel C right here, because Nash is pulling off crazy things. Has 4 monsters on the field. No Caesar has an Ash in hand. Is going to bring back the Jet Synchron. Go into a Saryuja Skuldred. Shane blocking it from a potential Ash Blossom, enjoying his screen. He's going to draw 4 cards. Can special summon another monster. Did he find the Snake Eye Ash?
Or maybe he's just digging for an artifact Lancea, as he's probably noticing that it's gotta be Malice deck from Chris' side. That is just the fine Italian cooking that Nash is known for so much.
Yeah, the Saryuja Skuldred, of course, a very cool tech that we've
Wait,
seen
what did you
across the tournament, especially when it comes to digging for that draw and Lockbird for certain matchup. Right now, though, despite all of those combos, not the most impressive field that Chris has to play into.
Tapi dia menang ya? Gimana kan?
Saryuja Skuldred itself doesn't do too much. Of course, you still have the Feedback engine, but I think you will immediately throw an artifact Lancea if it is the main phase. I don't think this is what he has got.
It is intense. Nash has to hope that Chris finds no way around that Saryuja, but 4 cards in hand is really not that little.
A little bit intriguing for us here that the deck from Chris still has yet to be revealed. Of course, granted, back something that is now suggests it is indeed the Malice and not the 10 High Dragon Sky Striker. Otherwise, this could be an explosive game. But right now, we have a Lord of Darkness looking for more cards.
That could be a risky Lord of Darkness, but it seems like there currently is no Dark Monster in hand as we said cards before. Do we even find the Dark Monster in? No!
Oh, jelek bu kartunya. Banyak Chris. Gua ada lagi. Gua ada. Tapi ada faksi si Chris. Mau nggak mau ya dia all in. Saya masih kebuang.
And that means that, of course, the team Ragnarok is in the lead. The team captain Miz, who brought them into the tournament, is showing what he's made of. And now Nash also gets back Fiends of Requiem onto the field. So his Fiends event is all well going too. But also Duel B has just ended with also Luka taking it for Team Ragnarok.
2-0 up on the board for Ragnarok here. Miss and Luka, as you mentioned, were able to clean out their victories. It's only Nash that still needs to make it happen. But right now, looks to be well underway in that regard.
Engraver is being summoned. We are already at a lot of damage. Saryuja is just helping us with the damage. How much is this? 4, 9, 5, 6, 8.
And we use the effect of Fiends of Requiem now. There's very little that Chris can do to stop it. Yeah, you may as well use Atlas Majority Screen, but there only is so much. I don't even know whether it would be good. Dominus Impulse can stop it though.
Mau ada input.
We know that the last card is Palace March Air. It was just added back another card. If this impulse can't be activated, one penalty.
This could potentially be the end of the duel for Chris as Nash looks to close it out, and it would take Ragnarok in a clean sweep to 3.
And something from the hand for Saryuja now. That is, of course, the other effect of it. I am sure we bring out Diamonds of the Black Mist, and that is enough attack points to add into the battle phase if we like to.
This card is so strong. Even if you're trying to go for a game yet you can't for some reason make it. There is a infinite
Waduh.
that means that you have
Udah datang.
That would be 8,000 regardless anyway.
Masih
So
kita nggak bisa ngapain lagi.
500 left remaining on the side of Chris as well. So this infinite permanence is basically just saying, hey, let's go into the next set. Just go to the
Yatarou.
You know, I cannot even activate. Oh, there's a card. Oh, Madison.
Wah, ada hari buat nambah badan.
A little bit with the March area. It's not just over here for the very moment.
You have Engraver.
You saw really both of these teams.
Iya, tapi ada itu
They were really ready.
yang
They
di sana
wanted
aja.
to get onto the stage, and now Team Ragnarok is storming onto the stage with this first set being a clean sweep.
Tuh,
Taking it
iya.
free and oh!
Nash, Luka,
Yang S-Spin Fit masih ini.
each of these individual stars are able to
masih
shine
sayang.
in this first set of games, but it is not
Bener.
over yet. Chris, Ronas,
In the 2 games.
Yang seduanya gue tadi ketinggalan.
Completely combo of no Maxi there, and I think this is right now really looking well for Brothos.
the other phenomenal position for the Malice deck to be in as Chris continues
Yang seduanya pada pakai meta semua.
and makes his way towards that end field. Miss
Yang
is in fact just watching.
tim BROTDOSE pada pakai meta semua.
Indeed he can. B and C looking okay for BROTDOSE too, especially Duel B, whereas Duel C, maybe we see it go by way of Ragnarok.
We have seen a maxi result by Vince, and now Nash is committing heavily into it, and that is going to be interesting. Is he going to try to full combo through a maxi saying, hey, my field's going to be good enough, and Vince's deck can't have enough pushes, because I think Vince is on Voiceless Voice and Memento, right?
Yes, I think that is the decision we just made. He checked with his teammates, and I think the call is, we do not care about this maxi. Memento only has a certain amount of pushes, so we just make our field and hope that Memento cannot break it after all.
Yep, Snake Eye, Ash, Snake Eye, Poplar then goes into the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. Everything just continues to unfold in favor of Nesh here. I believe that is the Snake Eye's Bellstar joining it in the Spell and Trap card zone, now moving to the Monster Zone. Snake Eye's Lambear's Dragon there as well now as the Link summoning does happen for Nesh.
So that we talk about it so much, let's get also the moving going, let's get Duel C back to the main attention. This is the one that currently is the most interesting there, with Nash just playing into his maxi, the hand size of Vince almost unable to be displayed there anymore.
Yep, gonna give over at least 10 cards, you have to imagine. Hopefully no super polymerization in that Duel C that we would like to look at.
Actually, I think in the Memento deck you could very well play some polymerization. Also, because you're probably considering to play loads of mirror matches there, and the other deck for Memento is most of the time just a Malice counter, so I think some polymerization would have been an insane call also because it's never really used in Malice or Ice. In Rule of the Ghost, this is so many cards, but of course, yes, Memento only has so many pushes, but if you get the deck, cards, you might surprise with some hook abilities or some other cards that will break your field.
Oke, terusnya udah full board gini.
Oh, this might be the deck of strategy.
Full board Malice.
So it has no shortage of summons. There is another one and another card coming through for this.
The Desiree was summoned, but you really gotta question what the plan ultimately is. What are we trying to go for? If we really are aiming for that deck out strategy, surely we're going to go for Zombie Vampire eventually as well. That makes that process immensely easier because you can just pull out 4 cards easily through that.
Nah, White Binder ambil trap.
Malice Q, White Binder hitting the field alongside Appaloosa Boulder Goddess does suggest that at least this duel is going much better for Team Ragnarok.
Let's go into Duel C
Oh,
because this
tapi
is
itu
what is
si
happening right now. We have
Inesnya
4 cards
under marking dia
There's so many cards with set. If you are watching
digas
this,
kena aja.
there's a very high chance that this
Okay.
Oh, the Chaos Hunter, of course, that is the explanation. We don't care about the cards in hand, but we do not even play versus the Malice deck here. This is against Memento where it has applications, but it's not really that great.
Yeah, digging for that Chaos Hunter does shut off so many options for Vince here. Maybe he's playing Memento, maybe he's playing Voiceless Voice, but either way, gonna have a miserable time against what Nesh has started here. Nesh not stopping, continuing to summon Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames hitting the field and bringing back Snake Eyes, Lambear's Dragon.
I wouldn't even be surprised if the Chaos Hunter was going to be linked away later on, because I'm very sure at this point we're just going to try and go for a deck out here. Very sure this is not going to be Voiceless Voice there.
Yang di set 2 kalah ya.
Of course, Chaos Hunter
Kalahnya juga full loss.
this is not what you want to play. You don't
Timnya
want to give the
harus
deck 20 cards and have no field in the world can withstand that. Look,
Salamander
Sunlight. Well, we are trying to get all of these draws. Is there a way to maybe recycle the Zombie Vampire? Or I mean, the thing is, Nash and his colleagues, they have definitely thought about this scenario, right? There has to be a way for them to deck out here. This is not just out of the blue decision.
And should I tell you something? Duel A, we have the return of Mist to his Ritual Beast deck, and I just see Rampengu there being normal summoned into the Malice field from Chris.
Yep, Spiritual Beast came Lara, of course, Mist's favorite monster of choice. This is his favorite deck of choice. He's been so immensely successful on the strategy. It came into prominence as an answer to the Duel deck last year. Hasn't really seen too much of it aside from when Mist was able to bring it alongside.
Oh, that is the field now. Gave the opponent almost his entire deck into the hand, but now Vince, I think with all of those options, he even has a hard time to make a decision because there's just so many things that he can choose from.
It's insane. The field is not even looking that good. There's not
Wah, iya.
IP. There is just IP here, so you have to choose
Di bawah.
who's above the goddess or the SP Little Knight that you can make later on.
Belakang
And this is not even the best field that you can make. Really relying on Chaos Hunter as well. I was so sure.
Nggak dilompatin.
I wish we could see how many cards there are actually left in the deck of the Chancellor.
Can't be much more than 10, I would say. I mean, it's funny. Cards like Memento and Bone Party. When there are no more monsters in the deck, all of a sudden they become much less attractive because there is just no way to resolve them even. I'm sure there's at least one Memento monster left though in the deck of Vince. But how are we approaching this? It is in fact a Memento deck, and this is Memento and Anguish as the normal summon of choice.
That is going to add another card from the deck to the hand for Vince. Very comfortable on this Memento strategy and has so many options available to him thanks to those countless cards in the hand. Akihiron going to be the option of choice here, but is it enough to survive Nesh?
Terus pada mati semua.
Duel A sees Team BROTDOSE on the board. We have Chris winning there, and therefore the overall score now is free at 1.
And it's looking insane for Duel B as well. Ronas just with a call by the grave chain to Malice in the mirror effect, taking out the target, not letting him add a card back to hand, not letting him summon the name again, just making sure that the return is passed and looking very good, trying to close up the game as well. That's of course insane.
They need one more win to guarantee us a third set of games here in Paris.
Now the Memento fusion will be negated by that piece of Desiree. In the process, we also get to negate the Anguish and negate up to 2 cards with the piece of secrets being a link to monster with 2 units.
And still, not only because you're denying special summon the fusion monster, no, because you're also denying, because yeah, that was about to happen to be honest. You're also denying the cards in hand to go to the graveyard, which is really important in the Memento strategy. Even though you can just, if you have drawn the combined creation by the way, you can just fill up your deck again with cards from the hand.
Very, very likely, yes, indeed. We now have some consideration as to how to utilize this triple tactics talent. Talents, of course, being very, very influential within Master competitively, just because it's an impactful card, but also, you know, dialing it back to the 2023 World Championship when Snipe Hunters were victorious, that was the shared card of choice that set them apart from the rest of the pack, and that was what made the difference back then.
We changed the IP Masquerade, and I think we can rule out one thing. I don't think Vince wants to draw more cards. I think he's pretty happy with the amount of cards he has in hand, so this definitely looks like the situation that we're trying to take a monster, and that forces Nash to not only activate 1, but 2 of his monster effects here, being the Flambird and the IP Masquerade, not risking that they're just taking over.
And you can diminish the problems here by going IP Masquerade into SP Little Knight. Nice, getting rid of the Desiree as well to activate that effect. Oh, it's going for Nightmare
Phoenix now. It will allow us to draw a card, but it doesn't do too much else here.
And should I tell you something? You see it there with another red win logo in Duel B. We really have Ronas and his team BROTDOSE coming back into this as the team captain makes the score 3-2.
And that does guarantee us a third set of games after this, but will it be reset to a best of 3? Will it be 3-3 on the scoreboard between Ragnarok and BROTDOSE, or will we see Nesh able to survive these countless cards in Vince's hand?
There's just 1 for 1 steal, so I think there's even a level 1 Memento monster left in the deck, but that is not to that was Majora's Spring here.
Nash is just activating every card that is somehow possible, and of course you have your own parties being activated. Of course you can just destroy 1 card from the hand, doesn't matter at this point, there's no more real interruptions. You still have a Promethean Princess from the graveyard, but how is that going to stop Memento with 17 cards in hand?
It feels like a really tough situation for Nash. He made the decision to play a combo to give all of those cards away into the maxi, but it looks like Vince may just have a couple too many at this point.
So many options available to the Memento deck. Unfortunately, the hand, while fairly loaded, is not quite the same as the graveyard for the strategy, and that does mean that perhaps we are running out of options fairly soon. Still, a few available, like Chaos Hunter on your side of the field. There's by the Grave gonna come through to stop the disruption of the Promethean Princess Restorer Flame.
I mean, it has to be everything in the head of Vince right now. Vince is just calmly going, ignoring what he has. Probably can't even see everything on the screen at the same time right now. He's going to activate the Shiki now. At this point, there's really low chances of even more interruptions on the side of Nash.
So many cards in hand, he has to use the middle mouse wheel to score through.
When we go for another copy of Chaos Hunter that we have in our hand, but I don't know whether the Chaos Hunter here will be enough to withstand all of those Memento cards, because we know Memento is a deck that works in a very unusual way. It can just summon out multiple big monsters, and due to the effect of RAGNAROK, make them attack directly, and so there is a unique way to win this game, even without caring about the field of Nash.
I can see how this is going to turn out here. We can summon back the getting, and something you have set up your combined version in the graveyard as well. You can also special summons from the head. Have Akihiro because you started it with 1-for-1 earlier. So you can basically use the effect to destroy the getting now with your fusion monster, and trigger Akihiro, then activate the hand attack directly, summon the clicker, and boom, you have it down there.
It is that easy indeed, and really, we've been talking about mental ability to not get upset after having a couple losses in the first set. And Team Proto are really showing here that they're mentally strong enough to challenge the best in the world after the first set. It looks like they are coming back.
Yep, between the combined creation and the creation king, thanks to the Yatarou, you can attack directly for all of these monsters and just close this one out. Not too many disruptions remaining for Nash. In fact, I don't think there are any, and I don't think it will work out for him, as BROTDOSE set their eyes on evening up the score 3-3 with Vince's inevitable victory here.
Maxi is a powerful card, everyone. This is the... Oh, we have 8 cards in the deck of Vince. Vince is them now. Not too many. Face being added back as follow-up, probably.
Yeah, who knows whether we are going to need that follow. We shall see. There is now the effect of Snake Eye. We're building a field, but as we have explained, that field may just simply not matter when we are trying to go for those direct attacks, which could be the way to go to victory for Vince himself here. Vince, a master of this Memento deck in the TCG, and translating that mastery now also into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master.
Jet Synchron dashing into the hand there, but Vince is just racing towards Nash's lifelines.
At this point, I would have found it even funnier if Vince linked all the monsters away to an X-Code Talker, banish the X-Code Talker itself to destroy the last set card, summon the combined creation, and then banish the whole party from the graveyard to attack for 4,800 damage on the pop down, 4,000 damage on the Snake Eye Ash, and then that's already.
Because it does give piercing battle damage there if you go. We keep on continuing here. Honestly, that might really be the way to go, but we shall see here from inside. There is Akihiro, the monster we have been talking about. When that one is special summon as it is right here, right now, you can activate it back, and we do that obviously as well to just make all of our level 9 or higher momentum monsters be able to attack directly for the rest of the turn.
And Creation King there in the middle can attack directly for 3,000, but it's the 5,000 that we're waiting for from that combined creation. But here is a Link summon beforehand.
There's a Link for can either be Appaloosa, but the god is, or X-Code Talker, but is the Appaloosa.
There were 3,200, and I think we can attack directly if we summon the combined creation here. Now, Tekutlika's strongest soldier, Vincenzo Orofino, is trying to close this game out, trying to make it 3-3 after being completely swept in the first set, trying to make it even.
And as it turns out, the anti-malice technology is not very good when you're not against malice. Vince on the Memento will close this one out here, has 4 monster negations on the Appaloosa available.
Okay, there is Linkaribo, but we've made that Appaloosa for a reason. We can just use it here. The Linkaribo stays in the graveyard and cannot stop our direct attacks.
BROTDOSE, they were 0-3 on the scoreboard. They were having not a great time in their group, but they showed up when it mattered, and they made it here, and they'll make it to a set 3 in this semi-final of the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship.
Sudah kalah saja langsung di OTK.
Worlds together with them.
Ini intinya.
Played a lot. So whoever person wins.
Kita itu kemenangan menuju final. Kemudian saya sangka Cines sama Map, sama Map bisa bertemu. Saya sangka.
我々にとっては特別な意味を持っているというのも。
Ya guys, makasih udah nonton. Nanti kita ketemu lagi di final.
練習もした
Yuk di jangan.
友達でもある。
Bye.